Nvidia after the market closed is down over 6% and it's dragging down AMD with it. AMD is actually down more than Nvidia despite, well, the negative news only affecting Nvidia at the moment. Now, Nvidia released an 8K talking about, well, restrictions on chips being sold in China, more specifically the H20, right? The West, everyone else has the H200. Well, they adapted that in order to sell those in China, which are the H20. Now, right now, apparently, they are restricted to sell the H20 to China. They will need a license, and actually for Q1, they're going to get hit with a $5.5 billion, probably one-time charge. So what the heck is going on here? Let's discuss all of that, shall we? Alright, so first up, at the time of making this video, Nvidia stock is down, well, 5.3% to up to 6.5%, really depending on when you're watching this video, and AMD is actually down more than that. AMD is down 6.2% despite, well, at the moment, nothing being said about AMD chips being sold in China. Right now, only Nvidia. But we've talked about this in the past. China revenue for AMD as a percent of revenue is bigger than Nvidia, for example. Nvidia, as you will see, it's around 13% or so. With AMD, it's a bit more than that. So maybe that's why. Maybe that's why it's down more after hours. Maybe the market fears that, oh, maybe the US government is going to tell AMD that they cannot sell those specific chips, whatever specific chips, to China as well. They will be needing some licenses. So this was basically it. This is part of the 8K. On April 9, 2025, the US government or USG informed Nvidia Corporation or the company that the United States government requires a license for export to China, including Hong Kong and Macau, and the 5 countries or to companies' headquarters or with an ultimate parent therein of the company's H20 integrated circuits and any other circuits achieving the H20's memory bandwidth, interconnect bandwidth, or combination thereof. The US government indicated that the license requirement addresses the risk that the covered products may be used in or diverted to a supercomputer in China. On April 14, 2025, the US government informed the company that the license requirement will be in effect for the indefinite future. The company's first quarter fiscal year 2026 ends on April 27, 2025. First quarter results are expected to include up to approximately $5.5 billion of charges associated with H20 products for inventory, purchase commitments, and related reserves. Now, of that $5.5 billion, right, they're primarily related to inventory. So the cost for unsold H20 products that can no longer be exported to the restricted market at the moment. Of course, that might change in the future if they get the licenses or if they can or if they find other buyers for those chips. Probably that will be, well, a positive thing for the quarter after that, because let's face it, I highly doubt there is a shortage of demand for Nvidia chips. Of course, those are not H200s or Blackwells or whatnot, but still, I think for the right price, you will be finding buyers for those chips. Second, purchase commitments, obligations to suppliers for components or products Nvidia agreed to buy but can no longer use or sell in the affected regions. Again, I think this is just a temporary issue. And the last one, related reserves, provisions for potential losses or write-downs tied to these products. Again, we're here talking only about, well, fiscal year 2026 Q1, fiscal year 2026, up to $5.5 billion in charges. Now, I've already seen some people throw out some things that are not correct. Nvidia can still sell to China. Nvidia can still sell actually H20s to China, but they'll require a specific license for that specific product. Okay? So that's clear. Second of all, this is not a fine. Okay? Nowhere does it say that this is a fine. No, these are charges. Charges associated with H20 products for inventory, purchase commitments, and related reserves. Okay? I've already seen some people say, oh, they can no longer sell to China and oh, they've been fined $5.5 billion. No, sorry to say, that's incorrect. I'm still mind blown by the fact that AMD somehow manages to be down more than Nvidia on this news. Maybe by the time you're watching this, suddenly AMD has filed their 8K and we get more news. But at the time of making this video, that's not the case. Now, going back to Nvidia's business, right? We've talked about this already in the past. We can see that, for example, for the fiscal 2025, we can see here $17.1 billion in revenue came from China. Of course, there's this whole story about Singapore being, well, probably you ship a lot of products to Singapore and then from there they go into China and maybe some other countries as well. Okay, I mean, there is quite a big jump here, right? From 24 to 2025, that's close to a 3-4x or so. But if you look at China specifically, well, that's a 70% increase from fiscal 24 to fiscal 25. And so for fiscal 25, China revenue overall, right? China revenue overall, is not just specifically H20s or data center. That specific number at the moment, I don't know. Plus, I've already seen some people say, oh, it's going to be a 15% blow to margins. I don't know. I don't know how you can calculate that so quickly and how you get that number. I just don't know. If you have any explanation how a $5.5 billion charge is going to be a 15% hit in margin, well, let me know in the comment section below. But at the moment, all China revenue, not just data center specific or H20 specific, is $17.1 billion. That was fiscal 25. It's around 13% of the overall revenue that Nvidia generated last year. Again, over $130 billion in revenue generated for a whole fiscal year. $5.5 billion one-time charge at the moment. Not such a big deal. Let's be honest here, right? Because if there is truly way more demand than supply, then I don't really think this is going to be an issue. Now, of course, going forward, yes, this is an issue because as we've seen with DeepSeek, for example, of course, you can see, but DeepSeek has been using GPUs that they were not supposed to have. True. But if you believe the report that Huawei, for example, is actually, well, producing chips that are going to be performing quite well, well, then moves like this, which are purely political moves, let's be honest, are probably going to force more and more Chinese companies to ditch Nvidia products and maybe adopt Huawei, which also means that they're going to fund Huawei way more, which could lead to Huawei maybe shipping out more chips in the future to, well, companies that have been using Nvidia GPUs or maybe AMD GPUs as well, right? And that's not really what you want to do at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, this move right now, the restrictions are for China to be behind in the AI race. But what if this actually backfires and this actually propels China to the top spot or close to the top spot, but also pushes China to actually, well, develop their own data center GPUs and, well, Huawei contacts, I don't know, other companies that are using Nvidia GPUs. Maybe it gets subsidized by the CCP, and so you can sell those GPUs at a cheaper price, take market share, and suddenly you have Chinese data centers all around the world. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a great outcome. Don't you agree? Again, these things here can change from day to day. As I tweeted on X, this seems strange to say. Posted on X, I would love to have a blackout period. No more tariff flip-flopping for a couple of days. Complete blackout, nothing to say. Only talk when you have an announcement to make. And the same with the FSD promises. Blackout period. Thank you very much. Now, the strange thing, of course, is that we started off the day with some very positive news for Nvidia, right? We started the day with this. Nvidia commits $500 billion to build AI supercomputers, plus in the United States exclusively. This is very big and exciting news. All necessary permits will be expedited and quickly delivered to Nvidia, as they will to all companies committed to be part of the golden age of America. So the day started out with this great announcement, which, I mean, I would assume that Nvidia knew that the restrictions were coming, right? Because these things don't happen just like that. Although, although nowadays you might say maybe they do, but I found it, yeah, very, very strange that you start off the day with this big positive announcement and then you end the day on the restriction part of things. Seemed quite strange, but then again, strange times, strange times. And so overall, that's about it. That's what you need to know at the moment about this developing story, breaking story. Yes, for us AMD shareholder, I guess we are truly holding the bag of an advanced money destroyer. I wouldn't even want to guess what will happen if AMD actually releases an 8K and says that, oh, we've been contacted by the US government and we cannot sell any chips anymore in China or those specific chips in China anymore. I wonder how much that stock will get hit, but yeah, so far it has been a pain, not gonna lie. So all in all, that's about it. If you enjoy this type of videos, hit all the buttons, would really appreciate that, and I see you all in the next one. Bye bye.